All right, let's fire this bad boy up. I have not done anything yet, so on the back, plug in the power. Seems pretty self-explanatory. Drop the cord carefully down behind. Open our Let's Get Started guide. Make sure I do this in the correct steps. Unleash this beauty. Get connected. Make a little something. Bookmark this page. Sounds good. Plug in and power on your fabulous new Cricut machine. Excuse me while I crawl on the ground. Plug her in. There's a little cap on the plug-in. Make sure you take that off before you plug it in. We have power. Go to Cricut.com, setup. We'll walk you through every step. Cricut.com / setup. I've already done with step 1. Step 2. I agree to the terms. Open. Download. See it downloading up here. Make sure you open the file, and it should be saved as an install.exe. Product setup. So I created my Cricut ID by entering my email, creating a password, make sure you write it down somewhere, your name and your location. Welcome to Cricut Setup. I'm setting up a smart cutting machine. I did plug the USB into the back of my C drive here, USB-C docking station, but I've not plugged it into the machine yet. Cricut Explorer family. Clear 10 inches of space behind the Cricut Explorer family. Which should be good. Have a tape measure just in case. Eight inches. Turn it sideways. Perfect. 10 inches of space behind Cricut family. And then I plugged it into the outlet, and now I'm going to plug into the machine and power it on. You can see on the back that there is one spot for the power and then one spot for the computer USB port. Carefully put your cords behind the machine. Plug into the back. Pretty simple instructions. And now I wait while it decides what it's going to do. So I press the power button and it's telling me that the device is ready. And it has an update and it's all up to date. I agree to the terms and conditions. It's all registered. Click next. And you get a free trial. I heard about this for 30 days. So you can start your free trial and then it's $10 a month after the free trial ends. Yay, so you need a credit card to create your account and it auto renews. So if you don't plan on using it, make sure you make yourself a note to cancel within 30 days. So you don't get charged the 10 bucks a month if you're not going to use it. Ooh, let's select an image to start with. I'm digging these mountains. For this test cut, turn the dial to cardstock. Okay. And the dial is, I'm not sure if you can see it. Move this closer so you can. It says cardstock right here, and there's a little indentation on your dial, so it's pretty easy to see where it's turned to. Turn to cardstock. Okay. Place small cardstock on top left corner of the mat. So I grabbed my blue mat off the hook, and it comes with 3 different types of cardstock. I'm going to use this blue one and see what happens. A tip on the hacks. This plastic piece that comes with your mat, keep it and make sure you put it back over it every time you're done to ensure that you don't get all kinds of sticky stuff on your mat. It's a good tip to keep. So you can use the Cricut mat this way or this way, and it always loads in this top corner from what I understand. So it's showing the cutout up here, so I'm going to use it this way just because that's what it says. And I'm going to line it up on the lines, which is pretty easy to do. Press it down, and now the blue is lined up. It's stuck down pretty good. And I'm going to click next. Confirm the blade is set in place, clamp B. So I'm going to open this up. And I haven't even removed the foam, so I'm going to do that. Confirm the blade is in location B, which I'm assuming means that this is closed. Doesn't seem to move. Everything is pretty stationary. This must be, you want to make sure it's pushed all the way in closed. I'm going to do this. Push mat up under the guides towards the rollers. So the rollers are up here and there's a little plastic guide on both sides. It's pretty easy to see. So I'm going to push the mat up under the guides. I'm going to make sure it's adjusted so my Cricut has plenty of room behind it towards the rollers, which I did. Push the flashing load, unload button in the machine. Loaded. And then you press the flashing go button on the machine and the Cricut's button is flashing. You can see the cutting, it's pretty cool looking. All right, let's see what happens. Test cut complete, so it says. So another tip that I learned is if you look at it, I can clearly see that the cardstock is cut out. It's super clear to me. But there are some times when you use thicker vinyls that you can tell that it's not cut out. At that point, you would not do unload. You would stop and you would simply push the load button again and it'll line up exactly and recut it. but I can see there's clearly cut, so I'm going to click unload on the computer. I guess you don't put it on the computer, you press unload on here and you take it out, and it is so cool. It is clearly cut out, you can see the design. Remove cut image in cardstock from the mat. So another tip that I learned is that you're going to want to use a nice clean surface on your table. Back this up a little bit so you can see my table better. So you're going to want to make sure this is clean. And then to remove cardstock and vinyl to make sure it doesn't peel incorrectly is you remove it from the mat. You let gravity do the work. So you pull this way. So it removes the cardstock. So I grabbed some of my tools to grab them out and see how they work. This is the tweezers, and this is I believe it's the weeding tool. Not 100% sure. I guess we'll find out. So I'm going to take it and stick it underneath, and it lifts it from cardstock. I'm going to grab it with my tweezers, and I'm going to slowly peel and pull it away. I recommend weeding on the mat, so you would weed that stuff off, or with cardstock it's not quite the same. I have one little piece that's stuck. Pull that out with the tweezers. There it is. Look at that. How cool is that? My own wee little mountain. Now all this extra stuff is garbage, so you can weed right from your mat, from what I understand. This is where it's going to get tricky and time consuming because I've never done this before. Oh, look at that. Yes, it cleans right up. Just stick it underneath the corner and peel it right off. Nice. Not sure if this is the correct tool, but it's getting the job done, so we're going to call it a flipping day, yo. And if you don't want to touch it because you don't want to get your fingers all over the mat, it is a little sticky. I assume we just use our... come on, you bastard. Good enough, it's off. Yay! First cut complete. So there's definitely a learning curve to the weeding. There's a learning curve to use all your new fancy tools. A learning curve to all the excess crap that comes off these, like scraps. You're going to definitely want a garbage can super close by to catch all those. There's a really neat hack. I haven't used it yet because I don't have the vinyl on this yet, but to use a Clorox wipe container to weed, because the vinyl's sticky, so it'll pull off and it'll stay on your tool, and then you scrape it off into the container, where cardstock is not sticky, so it just kind of falls all over your damn desk and you got to figure out how to clean it up. So I'm going to put this back on the mat and hang it back up, and then figure out what I'm going to do next. I clicked the Start Designing on my computer, and this explains what's new. I'm probably not going to read all this shit because nobody really does. You scroll all the way to the bottom and you say yes, yes, yes. Click done. And then it looks like it has a bunch of ideas for beginners. And then these are all featured images. Ooh, I'm digging that one. So I'm going to mess around with this for a little bit and get to know it. And then I will pick something and I'll be back once I start that process. Okay, so I'm just messing around with it, looking at it. And I understand what it means by make sure it's an A and B. So you pop that open, and then you can pull this out and move it into tray A or tray B. So you just want to make sure it's in the right location. It's clearly labeled, and it's very easy to remove. So that's a good tip. There's also some storage here for tools, which might be handy while you're cutting, I guess. Stuff you're not going to use, you can keep them in there for now and then open them up. I got different, so that way I don't have to keep opening and closing it, but Kind of nice to have it. It looks like this stores your extra blades, which is probably going to be super handy if I ever get more blades. So I signed and dated my very first Cricut project. Zombie Coops 12/27/21. I'm going to hang it up right in front of me so I know I can do this, and if the machine starts pissing me off, I'll just push through. And remember, I'm smarter than the machine. I can do this.